Shalom, welcome to Out of Africa Torah session. My name is Tatrako, and in this week we are on the portion Metzora, or in English you would say the person afflicted with Tzarat. Of course, I don't want to go much deeper explaining what is Tzarat and how it came to be, what it affected and not, and so forth, the process, everything. We discussed this in the previous Torah portion. But today we find something very interesting, that amongst these diseases, there are these infirmities that would make one unclean. Actually, almost all of them had to do with our body. You find that Tzarat actually would affect the building, would affect the clothes, would affect the community, and eventually affect the economy. That was really something very serious. And this Torah portion also covers that amongst those such as brings impurity upon a person is the one that gives birth, and also what our bodies emit, such as that actually makes one impure. Now, today we are actually introduced from where this Torah portion comes from, the book of Vayikra chapter 14 all the way to 15. When you read from verse 2, we are told that actually when this Metzora, this person afflicted with a Tzarat, now he is showing signs that he has actually recovered. The priest now would be called to go out of the camp. Now, hold on for a moment. If the priest now going out of the camp, that is really, according to what our sages say, that is contradicting to what was said earlier. Earlier on, the Torah portion had told us, actually, the previous Torah portion had told us that the Metzora himself was the one to go out of the camp so that he may be quarantined there, given a chance to, think about his actions and so forth, and eventually reconsider his actions, and that may probably lead into the internal repentance. Now, today I want to talk about what is known as the formula for purity, or how does one become actually pure. Now, we see from the numerous examples of what this Torah portion actually presents to us of the person who gives birth, the one with Tzarat, and eventually those who whose bodies emit certain discharges which would make them impure. Now, the process is almost the same, but there is a universal truth that I would like to share with you today, and that I find really is very interesting. Now, we see that he was quarantined, the Metzora, but he has shown signs that he has actually changed, and things are working out, and eventually he's getting ready to be reunited and go back to his former life of purity, where he can mingle and be beneficial to the community. Now, the priest goes out and he checks, inspects, and says, wow, you actually made progress, and you can now be reintegrated to the community. And that was actually a process. Now, our sages say something very interesting concerning this particular event, actually. Our sages tell us that the formula for purity, or the recipe for purity, actually is in two phases. Number one, the person himself should show repentance internally. In other words, when you look at this Metzora, this leper, while he was out there alone and maybe with his friends, with like-minded, they probably had a lot of time to, consider their actions and everything, and they repented. No wonder the sin, the disease, and the signs of this illness has actually left their bodies. And the priest is there to confirm that this has been true repentance. Now, our sages goes on to say that this actually goes to the next stage, where this is now the external part of repentance. And this is actually very crucial for you and I. I know there are people who say, I can serve God in my household, I don't need to care about this and that, I don't need to care about the community and so forth. Unfortunately, this news is for you. Our sages tell us that the formula for purity is actually in two. Number one is what I've said, the internal repentance. Number two is the external repentance, whereby now the priest has to go to this former patient and actually begin the process of reintroducing you to the community, reconnecting you to the community, and it goes on. And when he has done that, you've completed 2 phases of your repentance. That is the formula for what is known as the formula or the recipe for purity, like what our sages say. So in as much as this was very short, why don't you join us even this Shabbat as we sit down with enough time on the Shabbat to dive deep into this Torah portion. And this Shabbat happens to be a wonderful Shabbat because it comes up with the Pesach, I should say, Hak Samech, Hak Pesach Samech to all of you. And Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.